All right, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to cover bang for your buck exercises, or I use the term bang for your buck. But before we start, take a moment and look at my salt lamp. Isn't that nice? It's nice in the evenings when I go to bed because it's just, it keeps it's kind of like a darker, it's not too bright in the room. So it helps you kind of relax. And if you start, you turn off all your electronics and you keep the lights down, it's going to help with the production of melatonin to help you sleep. So it's kind of like relaxing. I find the really dim kind of darker light helps you get to sleep better. So I typically wouldn't have this light in my face that I have in my face right now. But anyways, yeah, before we begin, every month I select one lucky winner. So comment #99 below. You'll get 30 days free access in the VIP members area. So take a moment and do that. But yeah, so bang for your buck. So typically when you see people and they go to the gym, like in most situations, unless your goal is maximum hypertrophy, like you're trying to build as much muscle as possible, you're obviously going to add in, isolation movements. So those isolation movements would typically be like a one joint isolation movement. So it's not exactly one joint, but let's just say for, the purposes of differentiating these isolation movements to compound movements. Now, compound movements are movements that are take multiple joints and numerous muscles to achieve this movement pattern. So think of like, for example, like an isolation movement, like a bicep curl to like a squat, which is takes multiple muscles, core, lower back, quadriceps, you name it. There's multiple muscles that are going into that movement pattern so you can do the squat itself, right? So one thing I want you to sit down and just think about for a second. So say if, for example, and this is what works really well for a lot of my clients. A lot of my clients are not people that they can dedicate a lot of time to the gym. So they can't dedicate multiple hours to cardio. They can't dedicate multiple hours to training. Their goal isn't to be a sponsored athlete. These are your typical, your busy, busy men and women. Busy, I should say women and men because I'm training mostly women. So busy women and men who are pressed for time and need workouts that are highly effective that they can do in a shorter period of time itself. So we have to think of ways to obviously fit in their steps during the day. In what essence, getting their cardiovascular work or working on their non-exercise activity thermogenesis, their NEAT. But in terms of the workouts, what do you think is going to be more effective? So if you were seeing me train a client in the gym and they were, say, obese, I'm just saying this off the top of my head now. Now, do you think their time would be benefited from sitting down, and doing an arm day, for example? So a day geared towards arm, or you think it would be more beneficial that they do their the whole workout geared towards I'm not saying don't do isolation movements, but if a lot of their movements, if they're pressed for time, you need to focus on compound movements, so you're like squats, your deadlifts, your presses, things along those lines that are going to use multiple joints and multiple muscles to achieve that desired effect that they're looking for. So when I say bang for your buck, what do you think is going to be more effective? Just sitting down doing a bunch of isolation movements. I'm not saying they don't have their place, but if they're pressed for time and they have a shorter time period, so say if they need to get a workout in 20 or 30 minutes, what do you think is going to be more effective? Those big bang for your buck compound movement exercises, or just following through with a lot of isolation work? So you got to think about that for a second. And if my desired, if their desired goal is fat loss, then I need to effectively take both compound movements and isolation movements and work them together in workouts because they don't have a lot of time to dedicate. They don't have hours and hours and hours. They might have 3 or 4 hours a week at most. So you need to look at things like your bang for your buck exercises that are going to be highly effective towards helping them reach their goals, right? And then figuring out other ways to, get them to focus on a calorie reduction and then getting more movement in during the week as well. So kind of creative ways to do that, to fit into their work schedule, their busy lives, if they have children, et cetera, et cetera. So these big bang for your buck exercises And that's why I call it that. It's because it's going to be more bang for your buck. They're going to be able to do more in shorter period of time and not have to focus too much on isolation work, which could take a lot of time. And two, you got to think about it too. It's like when you're doing a lot of isolation work, you see a lot of like bodybuilders. Sometimes they end up doing a lot of junk volume is what in essence, right? So they're kind of going overkill with the volume itself. So when you're looking at your general population client or the person that needs to lose fat, fast and effectively, and they're short on time, you got to add in those bang for your buck exercises. You got to take some time to learn this stuff, right? Like you can't, you're not just going to sit down and do, bicep curls, lateral raises. Like you want to learn your squats, your deadlifts. You want to learn push-ups. What am I missing? Pressing, push-ups, rows, pressing. You got to learn. You want to learn how to properly do these exercises because these are going to contribute to keeping your workout time down. And then obviously creating that effect that you're looking for, that, if your goal is fat loss, then using those multi-joint compound movements to help you get there. So big bang for your buck exercises. Keep that in mind and keep that kind of term in your mind as well. Big bang for, bang for your buck exercises. So if you do have any questions, let me know. Stay tuned for future videos. Again, comment below if you want to be the lucky winner of the 30 days free membership to the VIP area. #99. Hope this video helped. We'll talk to you soon.